you. Thank you. Last but not least, we have South America's sixth top ranking ecosystem and one of my favorite countries. Peru is ranked 63rd globally. They are very, very strong in verticals, fintech, education, healthcare, minerals, and we have Luis, Development and Knowledge Manager from Pro Innovate, to present Peru's startup ecosystem. I had the pleasure of visiting Peru, and it's quite mesmerizing. The country and the people, so much beauty, so much to offer. Thank you so much, Luis, for your time. Floor is yours.
Thank you. So much food as well, huh?
And music.
Great. So let me share my screen quickly. Just give me a second. Okay. All right now. So yeah, Peruvian innovation ecosystem. I'll get right into that, but before I do that, I want to let you know who we are. I think it's very important for you to take in consideration that we are a public entity. We're actually an innovation public agency subscribed to the Ministry of Production. And we promote and consolidate innovation, entrepreneurship, and technological development. We do that by managing funds. That's our main duty. We manage funds, we design grant programs, and we do follow-up in our projects, and we provide technical assistance. Why we do that? Well, we're a public entity, and we want to insert more innovation into the productive matrix. We want to create innovation conditions for businesses and startups, and as well as help SMEs to transfer, absorb, adapt, and diffuse technology. But when you ask us why are you really doing this, it's because we want to improve the country's competitiveness and productivity level. We need to remember that Peru macroeconomics performance has been good in the past 2 decades. However, it's not been the case for productivity levels. This is why we want to insert more innovation into the productive matrix. We have 4 portfolios. I'll get in touch. I'll go back to that later on. Before I do that, I want to talk about the ecosystem. So this is actually from your index. We're ranked 7th and 63 globally. Most of the countries or ecosystems in Latin America are early stage ecosystems. I would say that Brazil is a big monster. Most of the startups in Latin America want to go to Brazil. And we have a total of 60 cities represented in the global 1,000 and 11 countries in the global top 100. Startups in Latin America raised over $20 billion in funding in 2021. That's also a good insight. Well, as I said, we're an early stage ecosystem. We have most of our countries are early stage ecosystem, and you can see that in the funding. Most of them is early stage funding, nearly 75%. When we see innovation economies, we also see Brazil at top with Chile and Mexico. We're actually ranked 6th in Latin America behind Chile, Brazil, Mexico, Uruguay, and Colombia, but ahead of Argentina, Bolivia, and Paraguay. This is from a Global Innovation Index. And our STI investment is quite low. We actually invest lower than the average Latin America country. And let's not even compare it to OECD countries, which they are investing 20 times more than us. Nonetheless, Peru is performing above expectation on innovation relative to the level of economic development. So we have a lot of potential in many fields that I will talk about later on. When we look at the investment, private investment made in Peruvian startups, we've seen our ecosystem growing, especially in 2021. We broke a record by attracting more than 124 million in investment, almost 3 times than the previous year. And as I mentioned before, most of the investment is made in early stage startups. And well, as I said before, this is private investment, and most of them come from venture capital. And when we look at the sectors, most of the investment is made in edtech. Actually, Creana, which is a Peruvian edtech startup, raised $70 million. Now, I would like to go back and talk about our portfolios. We have 4 portfolios. These are our key portfolios. Startup portfolio, innovation portfolio, a portfolio for productive development, and another one for the key stakeholders in the innovation ecosystem. We invested over $300 million, which are represented in nearly 5,000 projects. And when we look at our portfolio, startup portfolio, we have 3 programmes or 3 grant programmes. Startup Peru, which is the main one, I will say, but we also have grant programmes for incubators, accelerators, and angel investors. We only do seed investment in the startups, mainly through our 2 programmes, but we, as I said before, we also invest in incubators, accelerators, angel investors, and hedge funds. We actually had 8 generations, which means that we had 8 calls since 2013. Our portfolio is of about 647 startups that have created in the past nearly 5,000 jobs. Nearly 80% of them are still operating, which is very, very good indicator. And unfortunately, most of our startups are concentrated in Lima. We have to remember that Peru is a very centralized country. Our performance really depends on our capital. Nonetheless, we have other programs that are currently working to accelerate regional innovation ecosystems such as Piura, La Libertad, and Arequipa. I think this is one of my last slides. Most of our investment goes into food tech, ag tech, e-commerce, edtech, health tech, and fintechs. Let's not forget that Peru main industries are mining and agriculture. So this might be one of the reasons why we have so many food and ag tech startups in Peru. These are some of our startups that we have funded in the past. And this is my last slide. We have signed a new agreement with the IDB Bank. We signed the agreement last year, and it's for $140 million. And 15% of it is going to go to entrepreneurship, which means it's going to go to the startup portfolio. And in this agreement, we have new verticals such as environmental sustainability and climate change, which means that we're going to see more clean tech startups and clean tech projects. So if you want to get in touch with us, please visit our website. You can also have a look at our programming, our grants. You can also write us, and I'll be happy to get in touch with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rui. Thank you for sharing the insight on your startup ecosystem. And just to add on what you mentioned about the mining industry, while I was visiting Lima, one thing I realized is that the mining industry in Peru is so advanced that is even to some extent more advanced than United States. And we had professors from US universities on the mining topic, and then they literally said that the mining industry in Peru is more advanced than what we have in US. So just wanted to add that. And with that, thank you everyone for taking your time to be with us in the summit. And if you would like to connect with any of our presenters, if you have their email address, great. If not, just email us at mahmoud@startupblink.com or feedback@startupblink.com. And we'll be happy to connect you with anyone that you will be interested to connect. Thank you so much, Catherine.